What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back. It's another installation of the Siege Double Shot, bringing you some more of that delightfully delicious seasonal series. I am the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run. What you thinking there, Whiskey?
That's right. Welcome back, everyone, to the seasonal series. It's time to finish the group stage. We're finally here. Round robin is done. Round 7. This is the final round here to decide who is going to make the playoffs. And this is actually the decider game. Most of the games not being played today, but this, the final one, is going to decide who makes it into the playoffs. And there's a lot riding on it here, specifically for Overtake Sector. We'll go ahead and take a look at the bracket, and you can see they're playing Don Beto, Isu Pandilla, or Don Beto and his gang, if you prefer. They're sitting up there at the number 1, tied with Core. Now, Core is getting a forfeit victory over Space Troops, who couldn't get a roster together. That means Core is moving into the number 1 spot. So that brings us down to Overtake Sector, down in number 7. That's the big question here. They have to win versus Don Beto, potentially to give them that boost over the Space Troops, because the Troops have an advantage in the round differential. So Overtake has got to win a bunch of rounds, but I don't think they can actually make it unless they win. So this is an all-important game here for Overtake Sector.
Yeah, for the most part, Run, in the seasonal series, in this introduction of this new tournament, it kind of seems that you can get yourself a chance towards the top if you just show up. I mean, there's just been an incredible amount of forfeits. A lot of good teams that missed out on playing because we couldn't quite get some rosters figured out or anything like that. So next time this is going on, chat, get your team together and just make sure to show up, and you're guaranteed at least a couple of them for sure. Today, though, Overtake, Don Beto. Let's talk about the teams.
Yeah, that's right. So we haven't seen the Don Beto team on the Siege Double Shot stream yet. He's been on a couple of the other casters early on here in the seasonal series, but Overtake Sector was on a bunch yesterday, so we got a little bit of advantage, and I know there was some chat going on. The big question, though, the map choice, because we don't have a lot of intel on either of these, I'm not sure, but I know that Kafe tends to be a competitive favorite here, and honestly, from just taking a look at the bans, Overtake Sector banning out Consulate and Skyscraper, probably my favorite team right now.
Yeah, and going to Kafe feels like a good choice here. It's a big spread out map, and we're going to need some opportunities for Overtake. We saw them in a couple of games yesterday, and while they had some really great moments, it just wasn't quite enough to get it done. So taking on the potentially number 1 team here in this group run means that they're going to have to be phenomenal. We're going to have to see some passion that we didn't see yesterday coming out in that gameplay. A little bit more of some team effort going on here, and some adaptation. I don't know. We're going to need to see something. Overtake has got to bring the heat today, or it just spells disaster.
Well, and taking a look at the bans, they're jumping right in. Mira and Blitz gone, and honestly, great calls on both of their sides, and then the Azami and the Grim to round it out. I think that is a great pair of certainly the offensive operators. So sort of avoiding all of the breach work. No breach denial ops, no hard breach ops here banned out. So they're going to focus on execute operators with the Blitz and the Grim. So Overtake wanting to try and slow down at least the attack side here for Don Beto. It's okay if they get the sight lines open, but they want to make sure they avoid the direct attack.
I think that's the right call here, especially when we were moving into that second floor meta for Kafe, right? So on the defensive side, I can't tell who exactly won this ban battle, right? These are phenomenal bans for Kafe. Mira almost instrumental for holding on to that vertical. One thing they did leave up, it's the castle, which will help the great window simulator that is the third floor be a little bit more defensible. But then you get the Azami off the board as well, which means that push in towards Piano just a little bit more easier from an attacker perspective.
Camera feed up and running.
But on the other side of it, Blitz just knows to be an absolute gangster when it comes to being that spearhead, and Grim with the intel, his kit is amazing, and you take some can openers off the board. So honestly, the bans here really just well done on both sides. I couldn't call it.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how round 1 plays out. And if you're just joining us or unfamiliar with the seasonal series, welcome everyone. I think we've got some of the players here for the series hanging out with us today. So looking to see who is going to make it into the playoffs, into phase 3 at this point. So it's a best of 1 between these two. The final game today, I think all the other games being forfeit at this point. So that's the question. Who is going to win to make it into round 3? That'll be a single elimination playoff bracket that starts next weekend. Also next weekend, Element 6. We'll see how that overlap works out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, first kill off the board. Jaeger going to find his live forfeit. Coffin's able to find the first one. Does give that man advantage early on here, and they're going to take it by 2. Finally able to answer back as Stokesy's able to stop the flow of blood and answer back, claim a body of their own, but it's a 4-3. Still plenty of time left in the round here. Mute is on a low health scenario, and looks like no C4.
Nice C4.
No
there it
no
is.
C4 because that thing was pre-planted. He had a pre-placed C4. He claims one, and that's a body bounds equalized.
Yeah, that was a great, huge play there for this attacking team, or for the defending team, evening this thing up. But, oh wow, a double coming out and taking down Stokesy. He had been the guy, but, man, Crow is on a triple at this point. Certainly the guy to watch out for.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure here from the CS, but they're going to find the kill. It's the power of friendship came through. The call comes out. He just holds it, waits for it, claims it. First round's going to go to the attacking team.
You said the window simulator, definitely a lot of time from the attackers, holding on to the windows, holding the angles, couple of those early picks coming out, and the defense had a chance answering back with the C4s, holding some of those spots, but right now no match. Now, we said it coming in. Don Beto and his gang, they're like number 1, number 2 spot up there with Core, having played all their games, and but I know there was a lot of struggle with rehosts in their game yesterday. Hopefully this one's just a little bit better and gives Overtake at least a sense that they can be, settled into this match. Now, when we're taking a look at how they might want to play this one differently, to me it felt like Don Beto was, again, pretty direct overall. At util execute focus, so the Ying, we'll see whether or not that's going to be a ban that comes out. But Crow switching potentially onto the Fuse, that's a huge pick here.
Yeah, it's going to disrupt a lot of that gadgets and stuff that they have down in sight. Specifically, we're looking towards those mute jammers, getting those oil canisters off the board, and allowing them to even be able to get in and start to make that push. I like the attacking setup. Screams top down here, which means we're going to see hopefully a little bit of an investment on the defensive side to try to hold on to it. Currently, it's only Ella sitting up on the top floor, trying to play in that lurk role.
I love the fact that they've got sort of this roam game set up here. So she's looking, finding, placing those cams. So see whether or not she commits to the bit upstairs and is going to play. But look at this. Satex, man, he was talking heavily in the chat after the game yesterday. Was disappointed in his performance. Wants to make a big comeback today. And Jesus, just as we say his name. I'm sorry, Satex. That's my fault.
Yeah, yep. Go ahead and add him. Racing ENGR for any complaints about the caster curse. You can find him on Twitter there. Numbers equalized, though. Both the operators that you talked about run. Fuse gone in that exchange. And, of course, Sadex, who's serving as a sub on the team. Stokesy able to take Coffin off the board, and that's going to be Overtake to claim that man advantage. Now as they've got themselves into a way better position here on round 2 to be able to claim their first.
He did pick up the kill at least, so he pulls it off. You know, dies in the process. But hey, man, it's a game of trades. His KOST bumped right there. So you said it, though, in a 4v3. Still a focus from the attackers upstairs, holding down 2 on the 3rd floor. All right, how about 1 on the 3rd floor as they move down? Jeez.
Oh, man, it's some beautiful play here by the Shield. Survives it long enough to force the attacker to go back upstairs and try to play for some of the vertical game. Their comms are on point. This pre-fire is going crazy as they're trying to get something to find the equalization here. And as the clock starts to tick down, now just over 60 seconds left to go in this round, it's going to start to put some pressure here onto Don Beto to find something for the equalize, find something that's going to allow them to get in and start to make that plan.
I love that strat that they had downstairs on the white while keeping half of it open and using the Runegate there to burn any util. Makes it very difficult to try and set up for a white execute. And the defense was holding on to VIP. You can see Rain holding on to that spot. This attacking team doesn't have control over on the VIP or the white side, so they are forced to come down the red stairs, and that is also covered. This is looking very good for Overtake.
Yeah, critical positions held. Now the pressure onto Brown is going to find both kills going down. Stokesy good for 2 as he's a defender of the vertical transition.
There it is. That's what they needed. Needed to find a way to win one there, and the defense picks it up on the first floor. And honestly, we've talked a lot about how the first floor mid-4 sites are generally better. That third is sort of fallen out of favor on Kafe. If you can play the vertical well, and Overtake did a good job sort of shutting down. And again, down Beto, I think, made a few mistakes there, but losing a couple of those shots early, see whether or not they can change it up. Overtake, man, just as we say it, is going to try the third floor one more time rather than playing one of the second floor sites.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Right, go up to the potential solve site, but it also allows you to go back to your roots, right? Maybe a site that you're just a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident. That could be the take here for the key for Overtake is that comfortability, knowing that you've got a chance to actually win this fight. Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot run lately. The rotate put onto the freezer on the opposite side of where you would normally see that. It gives you a little bit of pressure to be had from the skylight. I wonder why that is. I wonder why they're switched up the rotates.
Device activated.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Maybe more of a direct line of sight onto the cocktail windows, and then coupled, I know we didn't talk about him a lot, but Gunnar playing the castle, and it seemed like it was a huge miss as part of the defense in a few of the games we watched yesterday, so they are going to lean into the castle this time, and I think that's a good change here. Gonna have to burn the Ash util early on to be able to open these up.
I think it's the right call. You're forcing a defender to bring along gadgets and utility. It's making them be responsive and reactive instead of proactive. This is a good call. A C4's primed into the closet here, waiting for that potential drop down the hatch. But they're going to take a little look first, right? Twitch going to get in, lose a drone, but now sussed out that somebody is currently sitting there. Man, this could pay huge dividends run if they make a double drop here.
We see people sit and hold this angle all the time on some of I want to say entry-level Siege, but the T4, T3, it doesn't seem to be very successful at the higher levels of Siege, but Jolly right now is going to hold on to it. The hatch is reinforced, so there's no chance he's going to get shot from underneath, or at least much more difficult, but it certainly seems like Don Beto is prepared, ready for it, and is not going to fall into that trap. But of course, as I say, they're probably going to rotate right into it.
Yeah, well, they're on to the repels. They've got the intel. Ticket is now taken, and they're going to start to put some pressure onto it right now. Not going to wait for that hatch drop. Instead, just going to take it. There's the C4 that brings out. Not going to claim one as well. The great part is here, Castle is helping hold on to that closet play by locking down the double. So now it's vertical pressure from below. A C4 that will be ineffective, unfortunately, as the trade brings out. But it's the C4s from below, the close closet take, and then holding on to Pixel back from area that really still just puts a stymie onto this spot because of that single castle barricade. Beautiful play, honestly. And now they find themselves another kills. Goosey's able to take Elias off the board. Does put the attacking team into a precarious situation. Air jab gonna claim a life, though, as Jolly gets taken off the board. Pre-fire towards bathroom. Not quite going to amount to anything just yet. Looking to try to find one more to equalize, and they've got a couple opportunities as both Bandit and Castle are in a very low health scenario. Bandle.
Good old Bandle, but it's 30 seconds left, my friend. Goose, what a time to show up. That was a huge pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Give them 2. Goose good for 2 as they claim it. Start to get a little dicey towards the end of their run, but they pull it off and claim a second.
I was going to say, to me, it seemed like we were watching the Don Beto attack just be better than Overtake again, good. They opened up the red wall, swing in. They had Pixel covered, able to take down and force the player out of the closet, and then get the kill off the back of that. So it seemed like they had that part of the execute better. But and then and having the Valkyrie covered with the C4 down below, coming in through that hell door, just well played on a couple of fronts. But Overtake was better when it came down to the final execute. Seemed like Don Beto rushed in. Overtake took advantage of that, holding the angles, and they find a win on the third floor. So going back was the right choice in this case. Now they get to play that second floor, and we're going to see reading, which good call here from this defense.
Yeah, I just like that one of the things we talked about for Overtake is getting into that contemporary siege mindset, right? It seemed like trapped a
Attackers
little
need to
bit
locate and
in
defuse as
old
many bombs as
siege,
they
and they
can.
weren't quite bringing the right operators. Well, today that has changed. This is a different Overtake team than we watched get slammed yesterday. The castle pick has proved to be instrumental in some of those defensive holes. Now they're going to double up on pace setting operators. Maestro onto the board. That's the huge call. Couple that with the Malusi and the Fenrir. Like, they're really dictating
Bomb located by
where,
attackers.
how, and when you get to push into sight.
So the two maps we saw Overtake on yesterday was Bank and then Clubhouse, and dominated on Bank, but that was playing against the X4 roster, really the #1 team, and we're going to see them in the playing for $4 grand tomorrow in the SGC Proving Ground Grand Final, so not surprising that they put up a hell of a game. But Overtake then played the Space Tubes MX team on Clubhouse, and that was a 7-2 loss for the team. And you said it, there was a couple times where we said, man, it just seems like they could have done a better job. They missed a few defensive picks, and this feels like they're playing a different kind of game and playing much better today.
Pressure onto the white stair going to be applicable as they're able to remove one of those castle barricades, but not just to remove it. They had to expend a can opener to do so. So some of that util gone already. This time, Don Beto's bringing along the sledge. Not on tech, though. We're not seeing that shotgun Reaper combo just yet, opting for the comfort of the L85.
I mean, that gun absolutely shreds as well, so you know it's definitely into a shotgun DMR meta at this point, but if Sledge wants to take the little bit of the long-range fights, this is the place to do it. And right now, he's going to work on opening up this vertical site, so that to me says that he might be more focused on playing the vertical, which I think favors that L85. We'll see whether or not this the third floor defensive operators are going to be a problem. They have got Cocktail on absolute lockdown, but allowing the defense to sort of, or the attackers to gain control over on the other side of the map.
Oh, well done, Goosey. That was a huge kill. Mania goes off the board, and that's going to be part of what's going to be removing some of those castle barricades. Completely locked down on Cocktail here. Gunner's able to find a kill as well, taking down the sledge. That means some of those castle barricades going to stay in hand. Ash going to have to get to work. A quick answer back, though. Elias and Coffin both able to claim one, and with that, the man advantage. Now, Coffin is but a bullet, a hope, and a dream to stay alive in this last 64 as it starts to count down. But job sort of secured. They can find a vertical kill here, claim one more. They're set up for the execute run.
Yeah, Jolly here holding on to the tight angles, waiting for this execute to come in, but he's going to have to watch out for Coffin, who is on an absolute heater right now at this point. He's giving away a little bit of his position, but you can see those blue outlines starting to make the push in on the mining side. Takes a pre-fire, but Jolly wins it!
Yeah, Jolly can't aim, doesn't live up to his namesake there, absolutely beams him through the wall. Now, the plant's starting to go down. It's a retake scenario. The fear's starting to set in the 1v2. You gotta be perfect here as they go to reclaim that vertical as well. Flashes start to ring out. Paranoia in spades. Looking towards the top, not able to get it done. Vertical pressure's gonna claim him, and we're gonna get tied up on the scoreline.
Damn, well played there by the Don Beto team. You said it, holding the vertical just a little bit better here, and they convert that into the attacking round win. So all that work that Sledge and the team did upstairs gives them the advantage that they needed. So a little bit of a back and forth at this point, seeing DBYP picking up round 1 and then 4 after Overtake picked up those 2 middle rounds. So now they get to go back downstairs to the first floor, and I think this was a site that Overtake held really well. They had that great white
Attackers need
VIP
to
hold
locate
that
and defuse
Don
as many
Beto was
bombs
never
as they
able
can.
to sort of gain any control over. Now, to me, it still feels like the team that holds and wins that vertical is going to be the one that wins the round, so Overtake can't neglect that too much.
Okay, unfortunate round if you're an Overtake fan. They had it going on. They claimed those entries, but just not able to seal the deal. Take it down to the bakery for this next one, and they're going to lean into a similar strat hold. This time, we're going to bring out a little bit of breach denial, try to hold on to potentially, I think, at least the hatch and the bakery walls there. Slow them down still. Grismot's still on the board. As Satex is going to be bringing out the Ella. Not a bad defense. I'm not mad at it for sure. Honestly, I would have continued in that fashion. I would have brought Castle again here and extended a bit.
Now, one of the things we didn't talk about a lot there was the next bans that came in. So losing the Valkyrie, so the attackers want to try and hide and avoid spending time clearing out the Valcams. We saw that early on, that they were using the IQ to try and clear out the Valcams. Banning her sort of avoids that piece of it. And then Overtake side, making sure that the attackers can't use the Brava to protect some more of those. And that, I think, is why we saw Jolly continuing to play that Maestro. Gives him a little bit more security in trying to play those and not giving that intel away to the Brava. So it's a good sort of combo ban there. Losing intel op, protecting intel op. So we see maybe the second half of this game going just a tad bit slower. And that's sort of what it feels like here as this first minute ticks by. Feels a little bit more strategic after Kafe goes down, which was unfortunate because he picked up that 3K last round.
Ooh, still holding on to the vertical. It's going to be Stokesy to claim Mania off the board, and that's going to be your vertical basically had out. I mean, we still bring along the fuse to try and claim some of those gadgets down below, some of those lives, but unfortunately, it's just not going to be the case. Elias is able to finally find that first kill on a Sadex, but gets traded out immediately as Stokes is going to put himself onto another kill. 7 and 3 currently. Now we're going to have to see Mr. Beto himself get active. He's killless inside of 4 rounds. See if he's able to bring something now. Distraction goes off as the Grismot is letting him know exactly where he's coming down. He's able to pick up Diffuser. He's got a ping going, but it's also revealing his location. Quick shot. Not going to be anything just yet.
Holy cow, there was some siege timing. He almost lost his life there due to the reload happening, but Overtake backs off just a little bit. Gunner's trying to find a way here to push up and gain a little bit of space, but he backs off the engagement, baiting Mr. Beto into the fight, and they still have got a solid hold here on the VIP side, so he is in a very dangerous position. This is not the way to approach the fight at this point. He's still got 40 seconds left, so there's definitely not a lot of room here to make a rotate.
Yeah, just playing for impactless kills now, right? I mean, this is an unwinnable situation. The crosses are set incredibly. Nobody has to reveal themselves. Diffuser is in hand, but not much you're going to be able to do with it. So, looks like Overtake going to claim themselves another round, and it honestly, Run, that feels pretty good. If we're talking standard splits here, that 4-2 that is like the coveted position to be in, Don Beto's already done their work. They already hit their quota. Anything outside of that is good. We're still seeing Overtake potentially have the point to be able to win this.
Oh, he's gonna pick up, I think he got 2 there at the end to pad the kill count. You said he was kill-less, but this Overtake team had plenty of bodies to throw at it. They didn't have to worry about losing 1 in that case. So I think that was a good call from them to put some pressure there on Mr. Beto just to make sure. And I like the pick on the Deimos. He did give the intel that gave his teammates one of the kills earlier on. So the thing I didn't like about the way he was playing was not enough vertical play. I think that's one of the real strengths for Deimos is his ability to put pressure on the vertical here. So this time we're going to see Overtake go back to the 3rd floor for the 3rd time in the first half. And I think Deimos has got a good option here to try and put some pressure on this Overtake defense.
back to the alibi pick. We saw it a couple of times yesterday. Comfort pick with that storm in hand, a little bit of distraction. Not a bad defensive setup. We're denying intel. We're getting a little confusing, bringing along the castle, of course, to force some of that movement out of the attackers. I don't know if it's enough to get it done here on the 3rd floor. I'm not sure.
Jammer ready to active. Setting a mine.
I mean, I would say definitely the alibi was not successful yesterday. Overtake for sure struggled to really get anything going, to be a real force to be reckoned with on either of the 2 games that they played. And it felt like up to this point that it was a bit of a different team. They were certainly running better than what we saw out of them yesterday. So they made some of the adaptations, but I want to fall back into that. It felt like they played a little bit more of the standard comp lineups and were making that work for them. So we'll see. Is this going to be their round? Are they just playing better today, or was the op selection part of it?
Well, okay, there you go. Hard breach done and dusted. They're able to take this off the board. Huge first pick here for Sadex at claiming the hard breach, right? Now that's going to deny some of that ticket access unless you can get Mania to drop red and claim the wall with the can openers. Run. That was an impactful kill right there.
Well, yeah, because we talked about that being one of the reasons that this attack was so good. They on one of the rounds that they didn't pick up the win was being able to use the open wall there from Ace to be able to jump in and put pressure on the closet player. So now, even if they were able to open that up with the can opener, it really defeats the purpose of why they need that wall open, is providing some access to red without having to drop the hatch directly. So that forces them into an up-down approach, walking up these stairs. And that's where Beto has made his play, and there takes down Jolly. So that was the alibi to go down first. Then Jolly loses the mute. At least he's got his utility down, both of them.
That's right. So now put ourselves into an equalized position. A quick push in, but it's answered back immediately as the pressure from White is able to claim one. Still looking towards that rappel. Has a bit of a glance here. Takes a couple of shots. Location is revealed, and unfortunately he's not going to grab the kill. So 68 left onto the board. A couple of punch holes going down. Watching for that potential hatch drop. Pinged out onto the clones means he knows he's still outside. Time for them to make a move. Gonna take an extra glance with the drones just to make sure.
Playing in the corner. Which pro it is that typically plays in that in the cocktail corner?
Cocktail? I'm not sure. We have a word I can't say on stream for for that hold.
I thought there was one of the pros that loved playing in that corner as well. That Maestro corner. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a 2v2, though, with 27 seconds. Just as we say it, Mr. Beto picks up another one.
Oh, man, but answered back as Satex is able to find one. It's a good old-fashioned 1v1. Fear now. Who is going to claim that standard round? They take a run in, and it's going to be
what
Satex.
A miss!
You know what? If the fear is kicked in, put on your tinfoil hat, because the paranoia paid dividends there, Run.
Wow, well played there, but taking advantage of his mistakes, he completely whiffed his shots, and that certainly looked like that could have been a Don Beto win. But Overtake takes the standard split in a 1v1 scenario. Satex certainly playing much better. I gotta believe he's happier with the performance today versus yesterday. So we get to see that 2-4 splits now onto the Don Beto defense, and losing the Nomad and the Mira. Nomad, that's an interesting play. That feels targeted, but I don't think we saw some tremendous Nomad play yesterday.
You know what's great about it, though, is some of these positions are tough to play. You've got somebody tucked into Maestro. You've got somebody playing Shaiko. You've got somebody put up on Pixel. Nomad is such a great operator to push them out of that push point. And now that you're taking a Spearhead off the board in the hands of the Blackbeard as well, it's just going to make taking places like Ticket just a little bit tougher. And I'm here for that. Now, they got the same bans that we saw in the first round on the defense. Mira's gone. Azami's gone, which means still have some of that extension play, but going to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, the Blackbeard,
Defenders,
the
protect your
Blackbeard band
bombs from
certainly
being
seems like
by
an
attackers.
interesting one. Again, is that going to be the difference maker? But it must be certainly that's something that Don Beto does not want to have to deal with. Is more of that direct approach. So sort of similar style bands that we saw, the direct as opposed to, again, the breach ops and the breach denials not going to be a big factor on either side. And really, right now, not going to play either. Pro running that the mute as the alternative, but typically that's more focused on denying drone intel, specifically here for Kafe. Now, one of the things we saw, I'm just going to say, on the overtake defense was opening up a lot of those hatches, and looks like Don Beto was going to take a similar strategy, opening up some of the hatches directly.
I ain't mad at it. Satex is going to be bringing out those Candelas. No tech to be had as he's opting for the standard approach, the gun, and there it is. Rotate onto the other side there. So we're going to have to ask him after the game, what's the tech there, Coffin? Oh, absolutely buries Gunner, and they're going to take the intel off the board, remove some can openers as well, and he's able to retreat back up to the safety of Freezer to get active yet again. Huge first play.
Wow, that was wild. Again, taking a very aggressive defensive approach, that can be a very successful strategy. Certainly against a team that is playing a little bit better, and you're looking to upset the balance, try and push them back into, you know, the more timid style of play that they were having yesterday. That could be a difference maker here to start off. So this is their opening round, and man, what a start.
You're absolutely right. We'll call it surgical, my friend. That was beautiful. Great first kill. Okay, so now the attack has got some thinking to do here. Is Coffin's good for a second one? Dang, that one's a tough one too. Stokesy's off the board, sitting up there in that frag leader position. Man, just a couple of tough opening picks here. They're looking a little bit shaky on the attack side.
I mean, it's early. You got to work this attack side and get used to it here. So it is the first game of the day, at least on stream for either of these teams. They could have been prepping all morning at this point. And, I mean, coming into it, right, Don Beto was the obvious favorite for sure. They were the Goliath in this battle. So overtake sector, you said yesterday, maybe struggled to even get anything in the sling. Today feels like it's a little bit better of a run. But right now, they've got to find a way to stop Coffin.
We're going to break out the barbecue sauce for that four-piece. Coffin going absolutely crazy. It was just pain and precision at every single turn. He's just straight punching him in the kidneys, my friend.
Okay, well, find a way to stop Coffin. Don't do that at all and then lose the round. So, okay, got it. And nailed that one down. So now win con for overtake. At least a place to start. The jokes write themselves in Siege, my friend.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Down to the first floor, my friend. Don Beto looking to tie it up here. We'll see what they bring along to this experience. We're going to need some chaos on the side of the defense, right? Or on the side of the attack. We're going to need something different. Specifically, watch the runouts.
Yeah, for sure, a very aggressive play here by Don Beto. And like we said, I hadn't watched a lot of their gameplay early on. I know they got some fans in the chat watching the other streams because we were having to cast those other ones ourselves. So to see how this team played out, we know that they had an overtime match early on. So this is a team that can certainly go the distance and evening it up, getting a little bit closer, but it was just the first attacking round there for overtake. So plenty of opportunity left, but it is a best of one. We said they are at least need to take it to overtime, but potentially need to win this thing to continue on in the playoffs. Don Beto, I think, they've got it on lockdown. They're definitely in. The question is whether or not overtake is going to get that spot.
Man, looking to get active again. Coffin claimed one early on the run out, but this time we're going to get some drones in to take a look. Potentially misdroned, though. They didn't catch him out. They didn't send it down, so his presence down in the lobby still going to remain clear and present danger. Goosey's already made his way up onto the cocktail balcony, so already in sight to put some pressure on him. He's in a good position to potentially take out Coffin, and he does it! Absolutely beautiful. Passport stamped destination domination, my friend. He claims that one. Great first pick.
Yeah, that That is huge. That is better play there from Overtake and shut down, and maybe a little bit of a mental at this point as Kafe is stunned at he loses that battle. But to me, he was playing overconfident, playing on those brown stairs. There are so many points of entry that the attackers can try and take to put pressure on those stairs. I think that was just a bad play on his part, playing the overconfidence and then losing it. Now, Elias, though, on the other side, answers back, evens the count up, and that's Jolly going down, losing the gridlock. And look at that, thinking he had the C4 ready, maybe going to claim something, but the Twitch drone cleared it off.
Yep, now they're starting to open up. Buck with that skeleton key trying to force out some of these players in that critical push point, and they're going to take a couple of shots, making Elias retreat just a little bit farther back to the safety of the bakery. Candella's starting to cause some misery, but oh no, a DC is going to take Goosey out of the game. Man advantage now into the hands of Don Beto as they find themselves in a 4v3. Defense now just needing to lock down. Turtle strat up, make sure they don't claim any of that space, and they're going to be able to find the equalizer on the round. They claim one. Elias takes Satex off the board and now into a 4v2 situation. Still a huge attention to the vertical.
Yeah, it really should have been a 4v3 at this point, but Crow feeling very good about his chances, just hopping up and down at this point, and then backed up by a triple from Elias. Stokes is going to find one through the vertical, but down Beto, they can afford to just throw bodies at this situation now. Well, they could. Now, it looks like they need to be careful because Elias sitting there on 10 HP.
No kidding. Elias is traveling light, 5 HP in a dream here, my friend, but still claiming that man advantage. So Stokesy, the frag leader, going to try to get it done, but a punch hole's going to be his undoing. Gets taken down on the stairs that are brown, and looks like we're going to have to take ourselves just a bit of a pause. Did we get him back in?
It is a very short break from what production tells us, and man, that certainly feels like this Down Beto team playing just a little bit better on this defense, holding better angles. Overtake found a few options, found a few of those locations they could punish the Down Beto team on, but they played the aggressive stance just a little bit better. And right now, not seeing Overtake have a level of dominance that they needed to take down one of the top two teams in this seasonal series right now. They need to be playing just a bit better, but certainly better than yesterday. I got to commend these guys for the improvement that we saw versus the game yesterday. This is a much better team today.
Yeah, you could tell that the camaraderie has pushing through. The comms are there. They're putting themselves into positions to find themselves refrags and claim man advantage. Honestly, yeah, complete turnaround for Overtake. Super impressive, and they're making it a game against the #1 team in the group. So yeah, good showing by Overtake. A lot of stuff is looking real good for them. Now, here's the fun part. On the other side of it, though, the #1 team in the group, they're showing a little bit of shenanigans. Is that Be Still My Beating Heart? Is that Cav on the board?
Indeed, it is. That feels like, yeah, they want to take more chances, be a little bit more aggressive. And Kafe is one of those maps. It's a big map, 3 full floors, plenty of places for the Cav to hide. And that'll be the question. Does she go for hiding immediately to try and avoid being caught out by one of the drones as the rest of the team focuses here on the site setup? Or are they going to invite that in? Drones identifying where she's playing. She's certainly not hiding. She is out in the thick of it, running through the hallways. They're almost certainly going to identify that she's playing.
I honestly love that. You can play Cav one of two ways. Is the sneaky snake-like or just out in the open. I think it was said on Twitter once that it's, supposed to be one of the sneakiest ops in the game, but Ubisoft gave it the most recognizable gun sound in the game. So it's super funny dynamic there. The thing is they brought Deimos on the other side of it. So being out in the open like that, getting drone, means for sure they're going to bring everybody to try to hunt you down.
Oh, there it is.
Sheesh, paid for his hubris, went for another run out spawn peek, and this time overtakes him.
Yeah, just playing better. Now, again, that's the second time that we've seen the Don Beto team feel like they overplayed their hand, gave away too much information, played too aggressively, and Overtake punished them for it. So, again, this is a good change. Now, they haven't been able to convert that into round wins. They haven't won an attacking round yet. This, their best opportunity.
Beautiful teamwork. Right, they spotted out the toes of Elias sitting on the stairs. They had the cross set up completely, forced the movement, and the teammate got the kill. Beautiful play by Overtake. Now they take that man advantage by 2, and even though Satex has a little bit of damage done, they've got the global gadget in the hands of Finka to be able to bring them right back into shipshape.
Yeah, honestly, huge that they're gonna have this much of a man advantage, and now losing the Cav as well. So all of that extra buildup that we had, she's unceremoniously taken off the board, and this puts us in a 5v2. Overtake looking really good at this point. So Mania and Beto, they still have got some options, but they're playing together here in the laundry side, and this feels like certainly something that Overtake can manage really well.
Yep, and they do. Mania is taken off the board, and now it's a 1v5 situation. SMG-11 in a dream. Grenades, bullets. He's got the shotgun in hand, but the cross is set, and we're going to take Overtake to have a flawless round. Beautiful gameplay, and it all started off the back of taking Kafe off the board and that beautiful piece of teamwork on the red stair.
All right, I love the fact that they ran the Cav and played that style and have been super aggressive. That's the kind of Siege gameplay that I love to watch. So I'm definitely here for this Don Beto team. I want to see them continue to push the envelope just a little bit more and hold on and keep this a round-for-round kind of game. Now, we're going to see, was it going to be target bans? I think so. The Demo specifically making it more difficult for Overtake to manage the vertical. That gives them the option to roam, and maybe that invites the Cav. Now, losing the intel on their side, a little bit of a problem, but there's plenty of other operators they can use to gain intel.
Yeah, one of the things that we've seen Elias do is, yeah, you're going to ban the Valkyrie, but there's still plenty of intel operators, and that Scopos has proved to be quite devastating here on Kafe, even today in this match so far. So, what is the big adaptation? There's a couple of new operators on the board for the defense bringing out. This time, Mania bringing out the Clash, newly rebuffed and reworked. Solus is being brought out, so intel heavy on the Scopos and the Solos play, and basically the walking drone that is Clash.
Yeah, they lose the Valk for some of that more passive intel, you call it, in favor of the Clash and the more active side. So this is expecting the Overtake team maybe to play off a little bit of the confidence that they had rolling in after a flawless round coming in heavy. They're going to run right into and bash against the shield of Clash. That could be the thing that slows them down and gives Don Beto and his gang just a little bit of that advantage. So still best of 1, 4-5 as we head into round 10.
Hey, surprise of nobody here. Kafe on the spawn peak, going to try to claim one early, but this time he's got a little backup. Elias is also, who not just the frag leader, but supporting that potential push. And look at this. We've got a couple. Kafe is able to take Satex off the board. Candella's done and dusted. Huge first pick here if you're Don Beto.
Oh,
yep.
Tragic there for the Overtake attack team to lose that piece of it. And look at that, looking up, seeing the EE1 or the Lion scan up there, knowing that that's going to be an option. But look at this. Man, he's moving around, giving them all of the intel they need, understanding that he's going to be pinged out by the Lion scan. So I thought he was holding on to sort of a hidden position there, but gave it away in favor of, seemed like a distraction there, as Kafe was able to pick up another and moves into the double digits.
And devastating with that P90, just can get into the mental so much. It's intel and then it's influence, and Solus does a great job of that. Now they take the intel and the Candelas off the board on the attack side. They claim the man advantage by 1, and this is looking like a potential tie-up here. We need 1 to equalize here, Run. Overtake needing to potentially, I think, still win con. We got to get Kafe dealt with, or it's just going to be a tough end round.
This is the thing we saw from Overtake yesterday, was stalling out in the mid-round. They're just, like losing some of that ability, losing some of that momentum. There's just over a minute left at this point, and it felt like there was a good 30-40 seconds where really nothing was happening. And man, they still, that Raora drops the down panel just too late to prevent the coffin kill. That's unfortunate timing.
Man, Coffin's going to get another down. It just seems like we're just going to keep saying his name over and over again. But he is going to get down, so now into a 1v2 situation. But one of them is Clash still left on the board. And while the electricity doesn't do any damage, it's intel for days, and they're able to find the kill off some SMG-11 play. Honestly, just a beautiful round by the defense run.
We were looking for them to even this thing out, potentially send it into OT. Overtake needs more rounds here, but the round differential is going to be the problem. They're not going to gain a huge amount of round differential here by just coming in so close. So they're still shooting for that win. They cannot give up at this point. And you said it. Down Beto teams just played that a beautiful defensive round. And off the back of the Clash, that was definitely a good pick here for this team.
From being defused by attackers.
Swapping mags.
Man, tied up. Okay. This is what we were hoping out of the seasonal series run. This exact game that we've been craving this entire round robin that's been going on. Finally, we're given a back and forth. Finally, we've got to showcase what some of these better teams are going to be bringing to the table. Coffin going to be bringing out the Scopos this time, so the potential to be that lurk and that end game player going to be there. But also, you talked about it yesterday. That gun, you expected a nerf because it's an absolute laser beam. So put it in the hands of Coffin. That feels like a crazy situation.
Yeah, sitting at 12 kills at this point. I wouldn't say he's been the win con at this point, but certainly picking up a 4K at one point, and then the final down there on that previous map, enabling his team to just finish this thing off. He has certainly been the difference maker, and I would, we could call it a win con at this point. But one of the things we talked about here from this this defense downstairs on the first floor the previous round was they did a good job holding the vertical piece, and Overtake again struggled in that mid round, were not able to find a win at that point. So they got the opportunity here now to rework the strategy, and I like that they're bringing more vertical play. Stokesy bringing out that the buck here to try and open up and put pressure, and they need to clear the roam. So I also like that they played the Dokkaebi.
Get the all clear and making a hatch drop, destroying some intel. They've got some pretty good gadgetry off the board already. Sending in some of those, I don't know, I guess they were just taking shots on the Goyle canisters. I didn't see how that one actually got opened up. But everybody's still outside of the Satex and Goosey drop as they try to get active with each other. And there it is, onto the red, and they're going to see Coffin yet again. Going to find that opening kill, and even with the Dokkaebi huge on his screen, taking out some of his visual.
Wow, that's wild. That's just playing better right now. 13-7, just continuing to pad the kill count. We said potentially he's the win con at this point, and there shows why he's that opening pick. And you said it, even with the Dokkaebi distraction. So, that's an unfortunate there for Gunner Rain to go down. Mania taking him, and again, they left his white stairs wide open, making it very difficult for the attackers to gain in and gain a little bit of a foothold.
Vertical starting to put some pressure onto the freezer, but still tucked into the corner. Remains in a pretty safe spot. And they're just going to keep opening it, right? They're creating a bunch of avenues here for this last 50 seconds to potentially get their execute in. And there's some more damage done. We're going to need that Finky gadget to boost him back up again, because now Goosey, who is the frag leader for Overtake, put himself in a precarious situation health-wise.
And that was Coffin taking shots at the window as they went for the jump out. And look at this. Runs through the fire. That is just tragic for Overtake.
Man. Looking for one up top. Stokesy's able to claim Coffin and some vertical play here, but it's a 1v4, 21 seconds in which to do so. Does find a second, so padding that KD just a tad. They're going to force a third engagement right now, but he's going to be dealt with. Mr. Beto able to take the headshot, claim one, and run. That put him on that match point scenario.
Don Beto y su Pandilla. And looking like they are now on their way, looking for that top spot, at least sharing it there with the X-Core roster. Overtake on the precipice of disaster here on Kafe. They needed to find one, be perfect for one, to send it into overtime. And we've seen it. They can do it. Hell, they pulled it off in round 9 on attack with a flawless. So this is a team that can do it. The time is now, though, my friends. Match point, and this is potentially elimination point here for Overtake.
Well, when you put it that way, it definitely feels like it's all on the line. Nobody wants to take that proverbial bus ride home. We're going to see the quad site here. The second, the tertiary.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I mean, mining definitely, I think, the least favored second floor site here on Kafe. Teams historically thinking that the reading site is a little bit better. There's less vertical play on top of it, a little bit more difficult to access from the stairs. The mining has got that very close to the stairs side, and we're going to see the Cade open up and potentially block that wall, and that'll be a big focus there for this team. Now, Elias running the new op. I like that we're getting to see those trip connectors come out and sort of using them to block off and guard this hallway, making it a little bit difficult to shoot those as they're tucked inside the cabinets.
Yeah, not just tucked, but a long ways away. So a grenade isn't going to be able to take them both off the board either, and can potentially stall out this blitz. Who Satex had brought, right? It does shield break, it gives you that electricity debuff, and does quite a bit of damage as well. So gotta have to suss those out. Who do we bring to try to take them down? I mean, Ash charges, maybe. IQ can at least find them.
Oh, I was going to say, no way. Coffin goes for that run out again, and he was so close, but Stokesy is just a little bit better. Win con down. That is such a huge opening pick there for Overtake. Gives this team a little bit of the boost. They lose the pulse, and that should give them a little bit more flexibility to walk around and feel comfortable as they enter in on that third floor site. And as they play the second, they're not going to have to worry about the C4 from below. Now, you still have got one from the Cade, but that one might be certainly more of a direct. They expect the pulse to be playing on the lurk.
Yeah, Intel gone, C4 gone, and Frag Leader gone in one fell swoop. Now they're going to claim a second one as Stokesy's now good for 2 on this match point scenario. A little bit better here for Overtake, and they've got intel for days, right? Just doing an incredible job of sussing out where this defense is sitting at. But Gunner going to be the first casualty, and now Mania going to find Goosey off the board as well. And that's going to be the numbers equalizer, and if you're an Overtake fan, now you're starting to sweat a little bit. A C4 from Mania.
No way!
You called it as potentially just being a direct caught, connection met, now into a 3v2 situation with just over 60 seconds left onto the board, and one of them is a shield. The good thing, Stokesy still alive, still that impact player, still the frag leader here as he's going to try to claim some vertical.
I thought we were going to see the nade onto the shield, but no. Satex and Soki still alive. This is a crowd we want to try and see. They have to win here. It is match point scenario. These two guys have got to stay alive and shut down Beto to have an opportunity to move on.
Man, like two ships in the night, right beside each other they sit and they're passing. Stokesy's gonna take Mania, look for a shotgun play, but not gonna be rewarded with it. In fact, Blitz is gonna push up and get dealt with. Mania, huge play. Elias to secure the last headshot, and Beto is gonna take the win and the game.
Oh, 7-5 victory, and man, that came down right to it, my friend. I thought we were gonna see this Overtake sector team pull off when they needed to and find a way to win. But man, unfortunately, what a struggle. Beto and his team, though, congratulations. Big GGs. Y'all pulled it off and secured at least one of those top 2 spots. We're going to have to see how the rest of this seasonal series shakes out to see what Overtake Sector's final spot is going to be. There's a lot of FFs in the league, obviously. We talked about it the last 2-3 weekends in a row. We'll see whether or not the fact that Overtake played all their games here, I think is going to factor in, because they wanted it, they fought for it, and I'm glad they showed up a much better team today than they were yesterday.
Yeah, we got to give credit where credit is due. Don Beto was the favorite coming into this match, the proverbial Giants sitting in that #1 spot. So for Overtake to have such a switch up from the gameplay that we watched yesterday is just
Yes.
chef's kiss. You took notice, you looked at your VOD, you made some changes, and damn it, you almost did it. You almost pulled it off. Don Beto just being better that in this situation, and of course in that #1 seeded spot, or in that #1 spot. Man, what a freaking game. And since we only have one today, what a game to watch. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us for that.
Yeah, this was a great way to end the seasonal series. Phase 2, called Phase 1 qualifiers, Phase 2 here, round robin, and now on to the single elimination tournament for Phase 3 to find out who is going to be the winner. So the top 6 move on to that, and I'm sure Ubisoft is going to be providing all of that information to the teams invited and us to the viewers. So we'll be part of the community cast team bringing those games to you as well. Overlapping a little bit with Element 6, it sounds like, but we'll see how it works out. I'm really glad to see this Overtake Sector team, though, and congrats again to Don Beto and his gang for doing such a great job here in this Ubisoft seasonal series.
Yeah, well, you said it. Rainbow will bring out some information, and probably you can find that on Twitter. But if you're already there, why don't you go check out the Siege Double Shot, your one-stop shop for everything in R6, including Stomp and Watch, and what our GOAT has got going on in the field. Go check out the Twitter. Vote for Stomp and Play of the Month. Definitely deserves that Night Haven play. That's at glitter_whiskey. He's at Racing ENGR, and together we are at the Siege Double Shot. If you want to play, we got ranked going on all the times, comper to champ, and a little competitive in between. Discord.gg/doubleshot. Come hang out with the Whiskey Boys. And I know we've been talking about it, and I promise you we are just so close. The No Days Offline, our grind line for the Siege Double Shot merch, is just about finished. Designs are done, logos met. We've got everything set up, so very soon, keep your eyes on X, keep your eyes on Discord, because we're going to be doing a merch giveaway where you too can own a part of the Siege Double Shot lore line. So just keep yourself involved and around it. We appreciate all the follows. It took us over 7,000. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for being such an incredible part of this community. But alas, we have come to the dreaded part of the evening where we must bid you adieu. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Ayo.
Let's go.